Welcome to the Garden County Sport Podcast. Your hosts are Kevin Stapleton and Alan Nolan, with regular guests Emmet and John.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more on beds, mattresses, sofas, furniture and rugs. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie.
David Blake, physical therapist in Healy, for comprehensive treatment and assessment of all musculoskeletal conditions, including neck and back pain, sports injuries, upper and lower limbs, and rehabilitation. With experience in many sporting organisations at club, county and international levels, David can also offer treatment for all ages and is available for deep tissue cupping, dry needling and taping techniques when necessary. Contact David on 087 906 2150. That's 087 906 2150.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more. With stores in Tala, Nace, Bunclody, Carlow, Gorey and Wexford Town.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, new stock arriving each week in all 6 stores. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie for more.
Hello and welcome to our Thursday night broadcast. It's coming to you live from Garden County Sport headquarters. We're going to do a preview of the football finals coming up this weekend. We have Emmet O'Sullivan joining us again tonight as always, and we have a special guest in Garreth Gregan joining us as well. Alan, before we start, we have a bet from Winners Enclosure, our sponsors. First goal scorer on Sunday, €10 free bet. Just text your name to
087 193 4382. You're not going to introduce me, you know?
You're always here, so there's no point in introducing. I don't introduce myself. We'll start off as we'll talk about Junior C. Before that, actually, Wicklow, the draw in the championship for next year, clash with Wexford. What do you think of that, Emmet?
Yeah, so look, it's a good draw, I suppose. Two teams have been under pressure in Leinster. They'll be looking at one another, I suppose, with a view to getting a win. Winners have Meath. Look, I think it's a great draw. You have two new managers, Paul Galvin down in Wexford and Davy here in Wicklow. I see he's sent out emails for trials there, so he's getting the bandwagon rolling here. And look, it's as good a draw as you can expect, I suppose, at this stage.
Yeah, but equally, the championship is a big game. But I think you want to be looking closer to the league matches bigger. Like if we want to get out of the Division 4 league, I think the championship is the first championship game against them is in the league, and that's away from home as well because we had them at home this year.
Kevin asked me about the championship though.
Garreth,
that was true. Yeah, no, he did ask me about the championship there, Alan, to be fair. No, just what him was saying, it is if there is such thing as a favourable draw, I think Wicklow are on the right side of it. The part of the country we live in, we'd love to be Wexford all day, every day, but yeah, there's going to be a bit of a fanfare behind Paul Galvin in Wexford. Definitely, he's a household name, and then now we have to get behind our own lad, Davy Burke, and yeah, to get to see each other in the league as well, and championship then, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was talking about the league there as well, Alan, just to back you up a little bit.
From now on, it's just going to be the three of us talking. But yeah, we'll move on. Junior C county final is on Saturday in Arklow at 1 p.m. Alan. 1 p.m. Yeah, he's gone.
He's just sulking a little bit there in the corner.
So Pats against Kilcool, two of the informed teams in the championship at the moment. Alan, we'll go to you first there to give you your little contribution.
Yeah, sure. Kilcool were in the final last year. We're up again in Powerhouse at Tinnahealy, back in the final again this year. Few very, very good footballers on it there. Jordan Murray and Conor Scullion. Like the two of them, just to mention alone, are very, very good for that grade. Pats as well coming in. We won't say they come in through the back door, but they've bet one of the biggest names in it. In Air Oak, like we're all talking about Air Oak, and we were maybe a small bit hard on them through the whole year. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. But I think you couldn't have asked for two better teams in it. They're very, very equally matched. Who'll come over on the day is very, very hard to call, Kev. Very hard to call.
Yeah, Emmet, you were at that game that Adam mentioned there, that match with Air Oak. What's you're going to tip Pats to come over this on the line?
Actually, I think just looking at like Kilcool being in the final last year, there's obviously that bite there for them to come back. I think Pats they were good enough to beat Erog that night. Probably got a lot of wides. They had a lot of wides under pressure. That I think if Kilcool can stand up and put pressure on them early, I think Kilcool might just sneak this one after being in the final last year. I can see him maybe getting out a point or two. There's, you forgot to mention as well, like Mick Neary is over Pats, a Kilcool man himself. So there'll be a lot of stuff going on. Like the Kilcool lads will love to get one over Mick, and Mick is with the boys up there the last couple of years. So there's more to this than just meets the eye. But I just think Kilcool might just sneak this one by a point or two.
Yeah, might slightly disagree with you there, Emmet, if you don't mind.
That's what you're here for.
That's it. Pats will definitely have the win behind themselves after beating the Erog team. Erog were the team to beat earlier on the start of the year. When you look at the Pats teams, like to have Andy O'Brien, you have a lot of big game players. Kilcool were in the final last year, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win it the following year. If anything, it can play on your mind a little bit too much. So if I was to pick a team tonight, I think St. Pat's might just sneak it.
Yeah, so you're on the board, Garrett, with Pats. This is the famous tipping board.
Big pressure.
Before we continue any further, Emmet, you wanted to raise the tips from last weekend. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Just to see how
we all got on.
Yeah.
Well, I think Alan didn't gone too good again this week.
I didn't go on great.
No. Well, I did. I had Arklow to win. I had Dwyers to win. And I got Gleneedy wrong, but I got everything else right. So I'm happy. Thanks very much. Thank you. Top of the charts this week.
Self-praise, like, that whole crack, Kevin Hook house.
I brought it up. So.
Yeah. I don't think you did. I don't think
it's one of our last podcasts of the year. It's going to be a real turn on Alan tonight, isn't it? That's what it's going to be.
Different than any other night.
We'll move on. The Junior B final. There won't be too many getting to the two games this weekend. With my tip is Pats. And Alan, who are you going for? You're going for Kilcool. And Scudder's going for Pats. So 3 for Pats and 2 for Kilcool this week. We'll see how we get on. The Junior B final is in Ashford. That's at 2:00, and that is between Avoca and Enniskerry. These teams met earlier in the year, Alan, down in Avoca. I think Avoca got the better that day.
Yeah, they played down in Roster Park. Very, very good game. The game opened up at a frantic pace, and Enniskerry actually could have had 2 goals with the first 2 attacks. The full forward put 2 of them over the bar, but they were hands on to very, very good goal chances. But Avoca done what they've done really, really well all year. They've ground out the results and got the results at the right time. A few very, very good footballers on both sides. I saw Enniskerry playing Tinnahealy up in Ballynakill. A cracker of a game. Like Tinnahealy looked in the first 10-15 minutes to be the better side, but Enniskerry just turned the screw there in when they managed to stop Tinnahealy's goal tray and just pulled away from him, especially in the second half as well. And I honestly did not see that coming, to be fair, because Tinnahealy on paper as well, they were very, very strong. But equally then go to my tip, as you all know, that was Avondale in the Junior B, because they're a fair outfit, and they went down to play in Annacurra again Avoca, and Avoca come out there once again with a very, very good result. Very, very good.
Yeah, look, I think, again, as I said, this is going to be a real tie one. Again, I think we have a great lineup of matches this week all over. But as you said, I think that Avoca, I know Eddie Leonard has put in serious work with this team the whole way up. Enniskerry have been very good all year, but I think the way Avoca finished against Avondale, it really was a sign of a team that have, they're really up their game now. They were beaten in the final last year, but they seem to have upped their game. That never say die. I think there's a bit more steel about them this year, and I think they could edge this one as well. I think Avoca probably just get over the line in that one. Yeah,
both these teams have lost 2 finals each in the last 3 years, I think. Isn't that it?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And Garreth, you played against Enniskerry in the league.
Yeah, Enniskerry was our first league game this year, and they bet us by a point. Duard, a very good outfit. Gavin Barton, centre forward. He pulls a lot of strings, very good footballer. But they even have a couple of corner forwards there. They're very quick, very nippy. We went down then later on there to play Avoca in Avoca, which is never easy. We came away with a win that day, but I just know that Avoca put in serious effort over the last 3 to 4 years to try to climb up out of Junior B and get up through the leagues and championships. I think Avoca will have enough for Enniskerry just about. Again, I think most of the finals this weekend are hard to call. It won't be huge scores difference, but I think Avoca, I think it's their time this year, definitely.
Yeah, well, like to go back, last year Avoca got back in the final, beat Hollywood, and like were they lucky on the day? Yeah. A little bit more experience on the day, they possibly could have got the result. They just took one or two little wrong decisions on the last few minutes to try to close out the game. They got caught then, and Hollywood went on to pip them. And the year before that, Enniskerry were in the final against Rathnew, I think it was, and the same thing, Rathnew went on to win that. I'm nearly sure that's correct. But like, they are two very, very good sides. Like, and Avoca, I know a good bit about them down there. I know a lot of them most of my life, and they have a good outfit down there, well balanced. You know, and we had and his panel down there working with him. Like, there's one lad always sticks out in my head, young Mikey Fahey. I think he's a fabulous footballer. Like, and I've heard a few stories about the chap, what he's done to come back from college and all, to get back for training for, like, people say it's Junior B. It doesn't matter what grade it is. That's his club, it's their first team, you know. And I just think it's phenomenal. And like, I'm not trying to single out one lad, but just I know the stories about this chap, what he's been doing, and the sacrifices he's been making to get back for training and changing over lifts all hours of the morning, all hours of the night. You know, it's what sport's all about.
Well, it shows you then why he's doing it. He's obviously not doing this on his own. He's not the only person in that club that's doing it. They're all must be making a savage commitment. I'm not saying Enniskerry Arden for a second, but it's stories like that you look back in a couple of months and he'll be delighted if he's sitting there now with his Junior B medal. You know, to that, it's a senior. You know, there is no Junior B, C or A to them lads. This is their game, you know, definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. I think the Gavin Barton, who's going to pick him up, like, you know, for Avoca, I think he's going to be the key one to watch out on the day. And I think if we're going to put tips on it, I'm going to just give Enniskerry a gentle sneak there with Barton getting man of the match.
Bombs dropped.
Oh, and a man of the match as well.
On the last one, he's come out of nowhere, lads. Huh?
See, he's a bit of confidence behind him now after the last couple of weeks. He's on a winning buzz. Yeah, winning streak. Yeah.
There's no point in going to Alan. Emmet, what would you say there?
I just think after last year's, like, even that stuff, I hadn't heard that till now, but you know, as you said, Enniskerry are obviously doing their thing. They're being committed enough to get as far as they are, but I just think Avoca will sneak this one. It'll be tight, but the way they finished against Avondale, you know, I'd like to win in a tight finish against a good team like that. I think they have to be well there.
Avoca for me as well, yeah. Now we just have to wait for...
Over to you, Alan, now.
Yeah, I'm going for Avoca. I am.
I'll be a proud man now next week stepping in here if Enniskerry win.
Enniskerry are on an upward curve. They're going to win that.
And Scudder's going for Enniskerry. We get John Hines' tip in now next week. The Junior A final.
Leave it next week.
Or we'll have it.
It'll be an easy one next week, yeah.
Wouldn't be very fair.
We'll have it for you next week and what he has picked. But on to the Junior A final. This one is going to be a crack. It should be a cracking game as well. On paper, the two teams that are really on an upward curve at the moment, we have Antoker and Blessington, both storming through the last few rounds of the championship. I know Garrett Antoker bet you in the quarter final, and Blessington bet you in the last group stage. And
there's no need to try the knife in.
That'll be me, so lads. Thanks for coming.
Just you left out. But
to think what was the last match I lost.
Google doesn't go back.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kevin will tell you now in a second anyway.
But the last one you tipped wrong anyway, I'll tell you. But these sides on paper is going to be a cracking game. We've mentioned Kevin Quinn a lot this year. I know you have, Alan, in particular, like, you're a big fan of the young man, like, and on Toker as well. They have good players, but rumours in the camp could be a few injuries on it.
Yeah, see me the last day again. Barndarrig took a big toll on him. Took a big toll on Barndarrig as well. Dave to go on now to represent Wicklow in Leinster in the intermediate hurling with his junior status, I think it is. But Antoker didn't get off to the greatest start in the campaign. Everyone knows that. Like, they went and they played Barndarrig in Avondale, and like, we've hit on a good few times, they didn't get on that great. Like, they lost that day, they only scored a goal in the second half, but they regrouped. They got circle around their wagons or wagons around a circle, whatever way you want to say it, like, you know, and they
Wagons in the ring.
same thing there, Emmet. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And they did, and they come back out the next day again. Pat's over in Newcastle, and they put on a very, very good performance. Now they did, like, and they got back to where they were. But Blessington as well, like, I think that the only game they lost all year was against Vallymount in the group stages, but I think they were down 5 or 6 or 7, 8 that day. They were down an awful lot anyway of their main players, and I just think they're a fabulous outfit. Like, what really stood out for me when they went up to play Shillelagh-Coolboy in Ballinkill that night, when we went in, we just saw them, the physique of them, and I said, like, they'd pass for a senior outfit. You know, they looked very, very professional, very, very well drilled, toned, but the strength and conditioning, they're all doing it. Like, obviously the whole team is a collect up there. The club they're all doing the same thing, you know. And I can't see past them Blessington winning. Now I think they're going to win fairly comfortably as well.
Yeah, Garrett, as you said, you've experience with both these sides.
Yeah, not the happiest of memories, Kevin, but yeah, what Alan was saying there, when we came out of the dressing room, Ballinkill and the sub beside these lads, they were huge in every way. They were tall, physical, well built, but not only that, the lads could play football very, very well. They were quick out of the backs. When they had the ball, they were very intelligent with it, and they'd run all day. They'd play 2 games in a row, no bother. I'd say that they must be all training together, the seniors and junior A's up there, but we played them in the league and got on well against them, and championship then was a completely different story. On to Antoker, then we played them in Baltinglass a couple of weeks ago, and tactically they had their game plan excellent. They were able just to pull Shillelagh-Coolboy out of the middle, run through the centre. You had Kennedy centre back and their centre forward
Connor Davis.
Connor Davis, that man was born with a ball in his hand. He just carries the ball everywhere and always looks at ease. A bit like Leighton Glynn in a way, you know. He's never under pressure with the ball. He's able to bring it off to one side, hold up when he's meant to, and pop it in. So if Antoker have a full team and are flying fit, they will give Blessington a great game. But if they don't, if Blessington hit the road running, I think Blessington are going to win by a few points, I think, Emmet.
Yeah, look, we've been talking about this junior A. Look, it's a massive championship, even over the last few years, to see what's produced. I think, as you've said, you've hit on it up till now. You know, Blessington have been really good. I think that line of form beating Vallymount is a big boost to their form as well. You know, like everyone from a long way out, we're talking about Vallymount. They were the team to beat in this. Like, you know, they've came on, they've beaten them. Like, Antoker didn't start great. You know, under big pressure. As I said, if it's true that a few injuries, sometimes that can be true, sometimes it can't. We're not sure. I think, again, Antoker need everyone motoring 100% to be in with a shout coming down the stretch in this one. And I just think the way Blessington are playing at the minute in this junior A championship, I just think they're going to be really hard to stop.
Not to fully contradict myself here now, if Antoker, as you said, injuries can sometimes be put out there on purpose and there be no injuries at all, I think Antoker would be definitely the more they'd have more experience. You know, Kennedy's had county experience and whatever, and you know, they're a little bit older and wiser than the Blessington is a very young team. But then they're training with the senior team all year. Without Antoker, definitely going to need their full team. And just getting back to Vallymount there, you said, like, I don't know what gets into Vallymount when it comes towards the end of the championship. They fly through the league. They're a very, very hard team to play and to beat. And in the league stage of the championship, they're extremely good. It's kind of like a Mayo voodoo over them. Once it gets to the end of the year and the knockout stages, I just don't think they believe in themselves enough. You know, you would have said back in the day, without a shadow of a doubt, Vallymount would be in the final. We wouldn't say they were going to win. We'd hope we were going to win it, but you'd be looking at them sort of teams. There wouldn't be many back in Blessington and Antoker to be in this final on Saturday, to be fair. Like,
no, well, everyone was saying at the start of the year it was Vallymount to lose, you know.
And even after the early rounds of the championship, you wouldn't have picked these two teams. Like,
no,
you know?
You wouldn't. No, and that is the truth. Yeah. Like Barndardy were steaming away, like, and then they did a few very, very good results, and then come up to their last game in Annacurra again, Ashford, boom, draw. You know. And that put them into a semi-final, but a little bit stale. Could you say that? They went on then, they were in an intermediate hurling final, didn't get a result in that, you know. Like, I think their run in then to their semi-final was their momentum wasn't behind them.
Like, you know, what people say is, if you want to win matches, win them in September and October.
Yeah.
And I think that's you know, I know you can't get to these semi-finals if you don't win a few before then. But like
You need to know when to
the
peak.
old saying goes, you need to be right for the second week in September, really and truly, and that's where you need to be, the first, second week in September. And look, some teams can find it hard to get there. Like teams are working off panels, maybe 17, 18, an injury or two coming to that stage of the year. You know, like if you look at the intensity of the first round of your championship and the last match of the league stages, there's a completely different world to it. You know what I mean? Like you met that Blessington team earlier in the league, you just said, like you meet him 8, 9, 10 weeks later and it's like, it's the same lads, but it's like a different world. And like that's where you have to gauge, you know, like getting it right is a big thing with teams as well. You know, so but as I said, like on Talker and Blessington even, sorry about that. They've got it right to now, and like Blessington seem to be on a fairly good roll at the minute. You know, if, as we said, look, we don't know here now if there's a few injuries in Talker. Who are we to know what's going on? But I think they'll just need everyone firing 100% to just get down the stretch to have a chance to win this. And if they're not, I just think Blessington will have a little bit too much.
Yeah, and like at the start of the year, now Alan was threatened to be shot there recently. If people are just tuned in, he was actually threatened to be shot by someone we can't remember.
Severed money, probably.
Yeah, but at the start of the year, Blessington wanted to win Junior B, and there was a strong to put forward a strong case, but the CCC stood firm. In fairness to his Alan, and kept him in the A. And look at it now, like they're in the final, and you know, hotly tipped for it. Like, you know, in fairness to his, like.
Oh well, they did. Like we went on their farm last year in championship, and like not running them down or anything like that, but like they went out and absolutely dismantled teams in the Junior B, and they got up. I think it was either the quarter final or the semi final, and they got bet in it. But like people didn't know why they got bet in it. I think the 8 or 9 lads that had debs. You know, and that's fair enough. You have to go to your thing, your debs or whatever like that. But like their case was saying we couldn't get by. That's as far we could get in it. Like, but look, they've gone out this year now, and they've shown this is where they need to be. You know, they're in it. They're in a final.
No debs this year.
No debs. No, they cancelled the debs. Yeah, they're going to have a dinner dance and the debs all in the one go. I think, right? But like, I think like their run in has been very, very good. It has stood to them. You know, they've peaked at the right time. As you said, you want to be winning games in August, September, coming into it, and here's where they are. But like going back to the Untalker as well, like a lad said to me today on the phone that he just felt it was a little bit hard on Untalker, like with the few, they had a tough game last week, you know, the few injuries, having time to get right. Look at Arklow. They're after having 2 very, very tough games, you know, in the senior level. They have to get right. They're in a county final. Like, this is what it's about. You know what I mean? You get up and get on with it. Play the game. I know we're all volunteers. There's no one getting paid. You know, like we're here analysing and criticising, but they're out there doing it. Like they're training in the slopping way in the early Marches, Februarys, and like here they are. They're in the county final. They're still training. You know, and that's what it's all about. But like going back to Untalker, I think Garrett Jett, like you've hit a few points. They're a very, very good side. Like Conor Davis reminds me, the way he glides around the field with the stockings up under the knees there. Like Kieran McDonald of Mayo. That's the way he reminds me of, like his laser left foot there. He pinging passes with either foot. Like, you know, he's very, very good baller, you know. And equally with Brendan Kennedy. Like Brendan did have him full back. They can bring him out at centre back and he'll bomb forward with his experience. Like when they need him. Like you can play him anywhere up that centre channel if they want to. But that's only to mention too. Like they've a Woolahan lad there. I think they've a young short lad. Like they've another lad there, wing back. He's very, very good footballer. Gavin Fogarty. That's him. He's a fabulous, fabulous player. Like I think he's my player of the season for Untalker so far. I think he's got 2 or 3 goals from wing back, which is a very good return from your wing back. Like go back to Shillelagh-Coolboy's wing back, Jonathan Smith and Aaron Kinsler, probably the 2 best players you've had all year. Not taken away from Dan Nolan. I think they've been very, very good.
Or yourself?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that.
Thanks, Alan.
Don't mention that. But yeah, but I think look, if they can get over a few injuries, look, we're only hearing there could be Chinese whispers. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? But like, I still think Blessington are the hot favourite for me anyway.
Yeah, no, I tipped on Toker last week, as you all know, and but I think this.
Did you?
I did, yeah. I think this.
Never heard.
You don't say it enough, Kevin.
Well, I tipped on Toker last week, and but I think this week I'm gonna stick with. I'm gonna go with Bleston this week. I think they've
Jump ship.
Yeah.
What did he call that? A turncoat?
Yeah, but you can call it lots of things.
I'll go Blesso in as I said, if in Toker if everyone Fahan can get down the stretch, it'll be tight. But I think just that line of form with Vallymount for me does a hit a minute as well.
I would have said on Talker, only if these injuries are true, I think they will be lacking that firepower that they need through the middle. And if they,
Which we don't know if they are true.
So you're going to cover all angles here.
I'm going to pick the both of them. No, the two of them to win. No, stick me down for Blessing in there, and I'd be happily eat my words.
Oh, Gary's gone for Untoker.
I respect that, Gary. I'm kind of sorry I haven't picked myself.
So 4 for Bleston and 1 for Untoker, and we're awaiting John Hines' pick. So
He's home washing the chaps.
washing the jobs, yeah. We'll move on to intermediate. Kilmac and Dunlavin, the two unbeaten teams, 2 table toppers coming through to the final. This one is going to be a tight one, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be a humdinger. I think this is, has the makings of everything. I think the two of them, as you said, unbeaten all through. Kilmac have looked very, very good in all their games. Probably in the beginning of the year was kind of the group of death they were picked in. The sail through it, top of the group, 5 from 5. Beat Carnew in a semi-final. Dunlavin as well haven't put a foot wrong. They've moved really well all year. I think this, you have the right ref in the middle as well. I think Eugene O'Brien will let this one go. It'll be, he'll just let them ahead. He likes the game to flow. There's no messing. I just think, looking at both teams, I seen the semi-finals. I think Dunlavin done really well against Kilcoole. I think you're probably going to look at me now. It's a kind of a strange line of form, but Carnew were beaten in this final last year by 3 points by a very good Tinahely team. Carnew had 4 players added to their panel, 4 good players. Killian Gilligan, Brendan McRae, Sean Murphy, Adrian Myers came back, and this Kilmac team just kept him at arm's length and literally just done as they pleased with him. And I just think, and I know a year's a long time, but I think on that line of form, I think this is a really well balanced Kilmac team. I think down the middle, like Keane Rafferty, Gavin Burke, I think the 2 lads in the middle of the field, or 3 lads, the usual. Niall Meldon comes out with them. I think you 4 O'Callaghan's, like, they're just a really well balanced side. I think Simon Doyle, without an overall superstar, I just think every one of them are very good and can do their job, and I think they'll take a lot of beating on Sunday.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit there, on the Kilmac end of things. Like, I've been hard on them all year, and I'm still going to stay strong to my word that I just like to see how they can deal with a team if a team gets on top of them. And I have said it, a team has to get on top of them, of course. But go to the Carnew match, that in the opening 5 minutes, Carnew had 3 goal chances and failed to convert them. Now, I know they failed to convert them, but there were 3 goal chances, and if they went in, I'd like to see how they reacted. Now, I also said that Sam Callahan, isn't it? The full forward. Sam Callahan was one of their main talisman. Like, he got 80% of the scores. He only scored 1 point the last day in their semi-final, and that was from play, which was very good on Carnew's backs because they kept down their free count, and like if a team sees that, that's what can be done. But equally, that day, Kilmac had 9 scorers, nine different scorers. Like, that's good too. To take the pressure off Sam, and that when he is shored up, that they have other outlets.
I think Carnew only got 4 points from play as well.
Yeah,
so
they did
9 altogether and 4 from play. Like, that's good.
So but they are very strong up the middle. Like, Niall Meldon he's sitting in pockets that people aren't even picking up. And people are saying he's very quiet. He's not. He's by far not quiet because all the ball is going through him and Simon Doyle at a certain degree. They might be only forwarding on a hand pass, but he's still in the right place to do it. In their little triangles, their diamonds, to do the right thing at the right time.
Simon Doyle was probably, we were saying, he was really quiet in that first half against Carnew.
Popped
just
up the top to goal.
Half time, 1-2, and the ball's in the back of the net.
And
you know what I mean? And that was the score. Like, that was the difference.
And Jack Doyle had done a very good job of them up to that. And he was probably a little bit gassed at that, and looking for a breather and needed a little bit of help. And I was we were talking in the press box at half time, what could you possibly do to try free up Jack, just to give him a little bit of a break, and maybe bring out Rock on him, you know, to try mark him. Like, I think he's the only lad that would have been able to stick with him, like, but that didn't happen anyway. But like then go across to the Dunlavin again, Kilcole. I thought there were two very equally matched teams as well. Like, go back to the group stages, it's probably one of the best matches I saw in the intermediate up to now. Kilcole could have come away with the win that day if they had been a little bit cuter on it, but like we said, that Jonathan Daniels would have went back and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and said, like, this is not happening again. I think they went 13 minutes without getting a score. They kicked, I think, 11 wide in the second half of that game, you know, like that. I guarantee you, like, once again, like, he knows Kilmac inside out as well.
Added spice there as well, like, you know, I think he brought them to the Junior A title.
That's correct,
well,
yeah.
To Kilmac to their Junior A title, so there's that added little bit of spice there, with Jonathan after being over them. You know, as you said, there'll be a mutual respect, but for an hour it won't be there.
No, but like, that's it. Like, but like in the Kilcole Dunlavin match, like, Dunlavin, to me, they were never really tested either. Like, Kilcole tried, but Dunlavin just kept palming them away, just kept getting the scores. Like, even Noel Murta was quiet on the day, like, one of their big men. Like, I know there's a lot of pressure on him because he's a county man, but like, they have it throughout the whole field. With
bringing on Gary Allen
and Daniel Dawson, like, two lads to bring on, like, and did they really need him at the time? Not majorly, you know, like,
no, it wasn't a panic.
No, it wasn't a panic. It was just introducing them at the right time, you know.
Yeah.
But they didn't like. I don't think, like, the game was ever really in doubt that much with them, you know. And like, they took a rasper of a shot as well and hit the underside of the crossbar, and was it a goal? Possibly, but it just happened that quick. No one had any time to even contest it. But they didn't need it in the end, you know. They were just still just trundling away there. They were happy, you know. They went through they were a well balanced team. Like, we were on about youth, and equally look at Kilmac with youth. You know, I think you couldn't have asked for two better teams in this final. And equally the same, yes, that is it, because they're equally matched, like, for pace, physicality, not an ounce of dirt in either of them. No. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to go out and they're going to play football toe to toe. And I honestly think, like, Eugene O'Brien is in for an absolute belter of a game. I really think he is, you know, and the best of luck to him.
Yeah, and like, there's probably going to be a couple of key battles, like, who's going to pick up Shane O'Rourke for Dunavin corner forward. You know, he scored a lot last year. Shane Carty's going to drift in and out of the...
Shane Carty was very good against Kilcole. I think he's a big player for them.
He'll drop deep for them. Like,
he dropped deep, he came around, you know, like Killian O'Sullivan, I think, had...
Or Keane,
Keane O'Sullivan, sorry. He had probably one of his quieter days against Kilcole, but Shane Carty came out and picked up a lot of slack from him, you know. He was well, like... As you said, matchups now are key as well. And that's my view on... I think Kilmac's backs are good enough for matchups. I think they matched a couple of very good forwards for Carnew, and I just think they'll be able for these matchups, especially with the bit of cover that Niall Meldon gives them as well coming out.
Yeah, I like this. We've mentioned the triangle there a little bit there so far. It's going to, like, then you look at the Dunlavin backs as well. We've Patrick Carmody in there and Phelan in the full back line. Like, they're going to have their hands full with Sam O'Callaghan, and like, Kevin Redden come in the last. He was a handful for Kilmac.
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah, he was actually. Kevin Redden could have ended up with 3 or 4 points the last day with a little bit of better shooting, probably. You know, he really took Carnew to task, from the time he hit the field. You know, so look, again, we're mentioning both teams have a good bench here. You know, as well. So, you know, it's not just what starts; it's what comes on could have a massive bearing on this one.
Yeah, Alan, bringing it back to your point there about Sam O'Callaghan only scoring a point, like, that man has put in over serious points and goals in the last few years. I doubt he'll score 1 point from play in this final. He's surely going to be expected to score a lot more than this, you know. Geez, that is a very evenly matched final, to be fair to both teams. Both teams are coming a long time. Dunlavin there with St. Nicholas's, they've dominated years ago and kind of coming to fruition now on this team. Owen Murta, obviously a household name now at this stage with his antics on the county team. Shane O'Rourke. It really is a tough one to call. Kilmac beating Carnew. I would have tipped Carnew to win this at the start of the year, because, as Emmet said, like, they had a good panel last year and they had a better panel this year. And to go down to Auckland and to beat these lads by whatever it was, what was it? 3 points in it?
6 points, right? Yes, yeah, they pull away at the end there.
Yeah, 6 points. It was a big result for Kilmachannock. You know, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, it was...
We will.
Yeah, the top 3 favourites for this championship were Dunlavin, Kilmachannock and Carnew. Yeah?
Yeah, there would have been.
When it got to the semi-final stage.
No, yeah, that's it, yeah.
There probably would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
They've always been at the top of the table nearly for it. So, yeah, beating Carnew on that day, and with Sam O'Callaghan only scoring 1 point from play, that'd be my pick for Kilmachannock to win slightly. Again, there's no clear-cut winner here. I'm just looking down through teams here, like, you know, you're bringing on the likes of Gary Allen. You know, there's serious talent on both sides, to be fair to him. But I'm going to give them my nod anyway to Kilmachannock for what it's worth.
I'm going to go last on this one, lads.
Well, I go Kilmac, as probably if you're listening in, you know I've kind of been talking that way. I go Kilmac again, very tight, but I just think the way they're evenly balanced. They're just the way they there was a bit expected of that Carnew team, and I think the way they pumped to the sword, I think they're a good, well balanced team, and I think they just sneak it.
Well, I'd like to go different against you. I do enjoy it now.
No point changing now, Kevin.
But last night at the captain's sort of photo shoot, that sort of stuff, Simon Dial was reluctant to touch the cup before.
Superstition.
Yeah, so that sort of gave me, this lad is tuned in and they want it, So after seeing that, I'm going to go with Kilmac as well.
Right, I think it's very, very hard to call. I've been hard on Kilmac all year. Not hard on them, but just saying what I thought, really.
So you're being hard on them?
Maybe so. I'm going to go a draw.
First draw.
And Simon Dial will be man of the match. Mic drop.
And man, Alan.
And who'll win the replay?
Yeah. That's for the next night.
So we're going to have a next night. And Scudder's going for Kilmac as well.
Or Kilmac in a draw, is it?
It's saying that, like, it's 2 to 3 points.
Oh, well, I'm talking a point or two. Like, this is not going to be,
Yeah.
It's going to be whoever is going to come out is going to hedge out. Like, I don't think this is going to be.
I can see whoever's leading at half time is going to hold the course.
I'm going to say whoever's leading at full time is going to win it. You want to stick that down the board there, Alan?
This is your last night.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Mic drop.
It's a very brief appearance.
Alan does all the stupid jobs.
A very brief.
You're not taking my job.
A very brief but welcome appearance from Garreth Gregan.
I was only passing.
Has anyone seen Garreth?
More important, has anybody seen Hines? We're going to take a break there. Before we do, we just announced the competition again. We've the first goal scorer in the senior final. €10 bet on the player of your choice, and you just text your name to
087 193 4382.
And we'll be back to you in 90 seconds.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more on beds, mattresses, sofas, furniture and rugs. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie.
David Blake, physical therapist, Tinahely, for comprehensive treatment and assessment of all musculoskeletal conditions, including neck and back pain, sports injuries, upper and lower limbs, and rehabilitation. With experience in many sporting organisations at club, county and international levels, David can also offer treatment for all ages and is available for deep tissue cupping, dry needling and taping techniques when necessary. Contact David on 087 906 2150. That's 087 906 2150.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more. With stores in Tala, Nace, Bunclody, Carlow, Gorey and Wexford Town.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, new stock arriving each week in all 6 stores. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie for more.
Welcome back. It's time to preview the big one, the one we've been waiting for all year, the senior football championship. But before that, we didn't know who was going to be playing and facing Pats this stage last week, and we were treated to another belter. I suppose the conditions didn't really help, but in terms of excitement and drama and scores, again, Alan, it was another belter between the Gers of Blessing, with the Gers coming out on top.
Look, we didn't know what we were going to be led into up there with today. Like there was frogs going around with Heilskins and Weltons on them up there. Like, it was absolutely atrocious. Do you know what I mean? It was. And to be fair, like the 2 weeks in a row, we got everything in them 2 games. Everything you could ask for in football. In one day great conditions, the next day of horrendous conditions. And both teams, I'll have to give them credit. They left everything out there on the field, and like obviously there had to be a loser, and like you're hard to go out to Blessing at the end of it, but you're hard. It had to be in the top of the sky at the same time for the AGB, the way they turned it around. Like they just won't go away. You know, go back to 2 years ago again, or 3 years ago, whatever it was, 2016 again, Ballinacur. Like, you know, the gift keeps on giving. Like they went and done it again, but like we talked to Damo there as well. There that. Like, to go that far behind and try to come back out of it, like, look, what does be going through their head, you know, to go that far behind in a senior championship in that weather? And we were saying, like I said it as well on it, like, how did they get back? They got a goal. Then up the field went Blessing and got a goal. You know, like, then I said it on the commentary to you, Emmet and John, that's their chance.
We
it's
said,
gone.
like, the
it's
weather
gone.
the storm,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they took 1-1. I think Blessington took a hit at 1-1, went back up and got 1-2.
Yeah.
Like, from being 7 points up, they went back 8 points up.
Yeah.
You know? And I almost said, oh, well, there's not much more the Gers can do, to be fair. But
yeah, like
did we know?
I have 2 big talking points in the game myself. Like, and if you're listening, man, no, you might want to turn off the radio if you're listening to it. But like in the first half, Curtis Garreth was going through for a score, and Mikey O'Connor was through for goal. And at the time of the momentum, we had to say, was Curtis Garreth's decision right? He popped it over the bar. Yeah, because of the way they were motoring at the time, you know. And in the second half, when Blessing were small but comfortably ahead, same thing happened again. Mikey O'Connor went through, Curtis Garreth was through for a goal, and Mikey O'Connor popped it over the bar. How crucial is it now, of the second option anyway? I know it's easy for us to say it, but like, to turn that around, if they had got that goal, that was the end of the Gerlines. But Gerlines went and turned the screw and they come up. Like, they had put JP Hurley in full forward, they had put Stephen Hurley out around the middle of the field, and it paid dividends. Like,
well, I said to you after the time, I think the right decision was made, because Arklow got the goal, Darragh Fitz got the goal, Blessed went down, and Curtis Garrett got the goal. And then they got another point, and then Mike O'Connor got that point that you're talking about. That put them 110 to 1-2 up, and I said they've weathered the storm here, and you know, right decision.
I think all day was the right. You know, like, we can talk, like, if he takes a shot and it's saved, you're turning and saying, you know, or it goes wide, or like, I think those to go 8 points up the second time in that sort of weather, I think it was the right decision to kick it over the bar at the time. There'd be a few other decisions I'd be looking at. You know, when that first ball went in from a long ball in, no one touched it, it hopped into the back of the net. There was 3 big men from Blessington around that square. No one claimed that ball. And that gives the Gers, you know, the thinking, well, look, you know, this can damage them. This can, and to be fair to Arklow Gers, they went completely away from what they do. They're a fast-moving football team. They're ball carriers. They're, you know, a good short passing game. They're able to find one another. They went direct, they went long, they put ball into that square and they asked the question. But even like at 1-2 to 110, you know, the Gers have scored 3 scores nearly 15 minutes into the second half of this game. Blessington have to drop back a sweeper. You know, I think they just have to turn around and say, you're not going to kick 9 points here. You know, if you want to try and start kicking points, like, and to be fair, the Gers weren't having a lot of luck kicking from distance either. From 30, 35 yards out, it wasn't working for them. They kicked a good few wides, and you just have to turn around. And like, Paul McLaughlin picked up a head injury just before half time. He was standing on the square at the other end of the field when this was taking place. You know, bring him back and stand him in front of Mick. Mick had his hands full with JP Hurley on the, bring him back and stand him in front of his brother and say, right, if you're going to go past, you're going to go past the 2 of us. If there's goals going to go in there, go past the 2 of us. Like, I just think,
shore the whole thing up.
I mean, with 15 minutes to go, as I said, and 8 points up in that match, you just shouldn't lose it. And I know, look, Blessington, you're going to say, this lad, you're fed up listening to him, but you just shouldn't lose that game. And then you drop 2 sweepers back, you make them kick from the middle of the field if you have to, and like they're not going to kick 8 points without reply. You leave Mikey O'Connor and maybe Whacker at the other end of the field, or Curtis or whoever in space, and if you get a chance to break, you drive it long in and back him to win their foot race at the other end, because the Gers had to come forward at that stage. I just don't think the game should have been lost by Blessington, to be honest with you.
Like, we were critical.
That's not to say that Arklow Gers won this. I thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They came back, like, they scored, it was at 1-10 to 1-2, they scored 3-4, that's 13 points without reply. That's a lot in a football match on a rain-sodden day, lads.
It is, like, and a half time, like we were saying, like in the first half, Dara Fitz, he was kind of non-existent a little bit. Hamilton took up Owen Keogh. I thought he done an absolutely brilliant job on him, no matter where he went, because we were saying in the first half, the way the forwards were shuffling around, the Blessington forwards, they were moving in and out all over the place. And at one time then you had one of the McLaughlins and you had Gavin Murray in on the square, and we're just saying, if a bomb come in on top of these, mother of God, what he meant to do, you know. But it didn't happen, luckily enough. But then in the second half, like, Dara Fitz, like, really stood up, like, and I'm not being critical to anyone else, like, there's other names that done very, very well on the day, like JP Hurley got took off the last day, come back on, won the free to get the equalising point. Chris O'Brien got a score in the second half as well when they really needed one. He sent over a monster again, you know, which he done the previous day. Carol Kerwin to me as well was absolutely epic, and Andy Marr in the second half when they really needed him.
Well, Chris O'Brien and Stephen Hurley and these lads, they went around the middle of the field in that second half and they got stuck in.
Yeah.
They didn't stand, they didn't try and contest ball, nice high ball, oh, we'll catch it with him. They got in and they pulled the jersey and they stepped on feet and they just stopped the jumpers jumping, they stopped runners running, they just got stuck in, they got their bodies in across, and they just got, like, how many times was that game stopped in the second half with Blessington's big men on the ground? You know, like they were bursting into him and they were hurting him and they were injuring him, you know, and they just got stuck in. They just said, here, we've only half an hour left here. If it doesn't go right, we might as well give everything we have, and they just came out on the right side.
Yeah, well, one of the turning points for me, I know I sort of in a good vantage room, but I can't remember who the blessed man was running with the ball, and Chris O'Brien, I think it was, I'm open to correction, Chris O'Brien came in and turned the ball over, Alan. This was when they're after getting their second goal, and it was a massive momentum swing because Blessington were attacking. It was a big counter attack, and I think it was Chris O'Brien
down under the stand,
right in front of the stand, and turned the ball over completely cleanly, and up they went again on the attack. And you know that for me sums up as like, oh geez, Arklow still in this, like.
Yeah, and be fair play to him, like, and I mean this with the best will from the bottom of my heart, like, they're not renowned for being physical and dirty, the Gerlines. But I'll tell you one thing. They turned up, they showed they're not afraid to mix it up. Now, I'm not trying to condone dirt on the field, but on a day like that, like,
it wasn't dirt.
It wasn't dirty, but physical. They got stuck in. Like, they're known for their running, and their football and attributes, but not big, massive hitters. But every one of them, like in the first half there, Carol Kerwin, the corner forward, Cathal Kelleher ran into McLaughlin. And McLaughlin had to go off. I know he got a bang on his head as well, but like, fair play to him. Up the chap got on with him. You know, I thought he had a very, very good game as well. And so did Cormac O'Shea. Had an epic game.
And like, I think, you know, if you look back on the highlights, Arklow Gers could have had 7 goals in this match. I know we're talking about the two Blessington. Well, you know, they got 2 points from that. However, like, they took their points. Well, if you look back on the highlights of this match, like, the Gers they opened them up on so many occasions, and that's why I just couldn't understand that Blessington didn't funnel people back to try and fill the holes, like, and just stop the runners going through, you know, and just say, right, if you're going to be his, like, kick points from 40 yards there, let's see what you're made of.
But like, going back then, like, we'll talk about the final now shortly, but like, if the Gerlines, that's 2 games in a row they haven't started quick. If this happens again, Patsy, you may forget about it. There's no coming back. Yeah,
but you know, when we were growing up, and like, this is no slight on Arklow Gers, like, you were always told, like, when we were playing, if you got 5 or 6 points up in the jersey, it'd happen. You know, that's not the case anymore.
No.
There's a bit of steel about this. Whatever Damo's done with him, whatever's in this group, there's a steel about him. And look, it's not ideal to be going 5 and 6 points down and going 8 points down in the second half of a match. Like, they're not going to keep getting away with that. And that's just the reality at the level they're at now. but it's kind of good to know in the back of their head that they can at the same time, you know. Like, that's stuff you can't buy, that's stuff you can't put into lads. Like, they've done it now in an intermediate final. They've done it twice in the drawing match, or 3 times. They came from behind against Blessing in the first day, and like they've done it. They went 7 down the last day, came back to 4 or 5, went 8 down again, and came back and won by 2. Like.
Yeah, but look at even go back to their keeper, Mervyn Travers, right? No wonder he saw after for coaching roles and things like that with the county and all. Like, I'd hate to be back in there because he never shuts up. He constantly barking at you, and for all the right reasons. But you'll hear him echoing around every bit of the field to do your job, and keep on track. You know what I mean? He never ever stops, and like that's good. You know, to keep you on your toes, to where you are.
I was just going to say, I played as a backhand. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Because you want to know where you are. Like, he's your dies in the back of your head. You know, if you're marking the Mikey O'Connors or the Tommy Kellys or whoever it is the next day, he's telling you where he is. If you're going to try and play from in front or play from beside or wherever, like, he's the eyes in the back of your head, like, and that you have to have that. You know, so that's exactly, he's just doing his job in my book.
Yeah, like in the first half, like we sort of lamented the absence of Gavin Murray last week for Blessing, and saying, you know, if he was out there, they would have won their better share of kickouts. He started on Saturday, and you know, he won a few kickouts in the first half. At one stage, the Arkle fullback James Tyrrell was out around the middle, and he got cut out from a mark, and the ball was kicked over his head. I think that's what Alan was talking about, where Garreth took a point off it, and after that, Travers like screaming at Tyrrell, demanding that he didn't move, and you know, like you could just sense that like it's always in Baltinglass, the scoring goal seems to be that dressing room goal, that bank goal. It always seems, you know, and that's where the conditions as well. That's where the two scores. That's where the scoring halves were. Like they're all coming in that goal.
It's a quarter. 3/4 of the scores got last Saturday up there.
It was
one. Yeah, it was one. It was 4-16. There was 1-4 got in the bottom goal, in the hospital goal, as we were calling it.
Yeah.
So that's there was 2 points in the first half and 1-2 in the second half. Got down at the other end. They were 4-16.
Yeah, and you got it all up then at the far end, like
Thankfully, it was right in front of us. We got good seats now. In fairness,
in fairness to the lads in Baltinglass, Podge Duty and all up there for looking after us, and sorry, we really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Canopy on the balcony now I'm going to the AGM up there. That'll be the next thing I'll be putting in a motion for a canopy on the balcony there.
Yeah, no, fair play to him. Like, I know you said Podge Doty and Martin Coleman and Seamus Kelly and all the lads that were up there helping out. Like, they were all like drowned rats going around the place. But, like, I don't know, like Podge Doty was bone dry going around. I don't know where he was hiding. You know what I mean? Like, but he was kitted out with the best oil skins and all, and like I don't know.
That's he why just, they're good oil skins. He never goes out in the rain.
Yeah.
We know. I hope you enjoyed your holiday there, Pod. We'll move on then, lads. We'll get to the cut and thrust of it. This weekend is the premier day of the year. It's the senior football final between the reigning champions Pats, going for the first double since the 60s, first 2 in a row since the 60s, and a team in their first final since 1963. Actually, Alan, we have another statistic on an intermediate final, 1969.
50 years to the day.
Both these sides met, Kilmac and Dunavon. So, you know, it's a throwback time, a throwback weekend. Yeah, 1959, sorry. 59.
And the opposition was Dunlavin.
Yeah, so, you know, it's going to be a great day on Sunday. But Pats, you know, they've been sitting in the long grass. They've watched the Jers go to battle for 140 minutes or there, plus a little bit of VAT on top of that. A real draining day last Sunday or Saturday in the slop of, like, the heavy ground in Baltinglass. Like, they'd have to be licking their lips now at getting at them on Sunday.
Yeah, look, I suppose there's 2 ways of looking at it. You know, Pats will have had their rest. You know, they seem to be in a good place. They have been all year. There's 2 ways this can go for Arklow Jers, I suppose. You can have the bounce factor that they're on top of the world there at the minute. You know, they can fear nothing at this stage after the last 2 weeks of football that they've put through. You know, the other side of that is, will it have tired them a little bit? You know, they won't think it has. You won't think this week it has. Everything will be great. You know, it'll be hard to know. We'll know Sunday evening, I suppose. That's the only. Again, it's the bounce factor. Probably it suits. I think build-up wise, it's probably suits the Jers after not being in a final for so long. There's only a week, because you know, the bandwagon can start rolling in around Arklo's a big town. That bandwagon can start rolling. There can be a lot of things going on. Your players' heads can be turned a little bit. You know, will you go here? Will you go there? Want pictures taken here? Picture. There's only a week, so you know they've only 5 or 6 days really to get their heads down and get back into the final. I think that can be a little bit of a plus for Arklow, if anything. I know it's not ideal after what they're after being through there in the last 2 weeks. Pats, look, we spoke all through about them. You know, they've set the template here. They're a serious outfit. You know, they have the bench to back it up. They've gone really well. You know, there's been no second year syndrome with them. Their heads have been down. You know, early in the league they looked a little bit dodgy, but I'd say it was more from heavy training schedule early in the. But like when they needed to put the foot down, they retained the Dun Cup. They've come through pretty much unscathed through the whole championship. So far, you know, I think their least winning margin was by 5 points. Again, the Gers have it all to do here. Like this, we're talking about matchups, and I think we talked about matchups in the semi-final with Havendale, and is having enough players to match this Pats team is the big question. You know, have you enough to go man to man with them?
They're able to go out and match any team that's in front of them because they just have it in abundances of a any corner of the field. They can, if you have a tall team, they're able to for that. If you have a fast team, they've that. If you're strong up the middle, no problem. We'll deal with that as well. They can do it whatever way they want. They can. I think, to be fair, like we got a text in the last day. Someone 0 has to go, lads. Yeah, hashtags drive for one. Both teams that are unbeaten. I think it was a class. It was a class statement, like, you know.
Someone's all has to go.
Someone's all has to go, like.
You know, and look, again, it's great to see if your intermediate final and your senior final, 4 teams unbeaten for the year.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's only going to be 2 Sunday evening barn draws, as the lad says, but like as you said, it's a credit to the setup and the system that they can still push through and get there. Like we talk about breaks and semi-finals, our teams are well set up to handle them. Look, I just think, again, we're going back to on-field, you know, who picks up Tommy, and more to the point, how do they stop the ball to Tommy, I think is more, you know, like no one-on-one with that ball that Pats are getting to Tommy at the minute. His Tommy Kelly is going to deal with him one-on-one. He has so much in his locker. You know, I think the big thing is to just try to cut that ball going out.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other, like when you have Dean Healy and these lads around the midfield, that's a whole other job, you know what I mean? Like,
well, a lad pointed a very valid stat out to us the other day, or to me, that like, has Stephen Duffy been quiet this year? Has Podge McWalter been quiet this year? No, Podge hasn't. Stephen Duffy, maybe a little bit, but no, right? I got this stat happen the other day. 90% of the possessions that Pats had in the semi-final went through Duffy and McWalter. But so you wouldn't think it.
You know, like, you know, they're not kicking points from corner flags, and you're not shouting, you know, the greatest score this year or anything.
But everything's going through them.
But that's a mark of the players, like, you know, I think, you know, the way this team operates is their cornerback is as important to them as Tommy Kelly. I know Tommy is getting the plaudits at the minute, you know, and Podge and these lads are.
Someone has to do the scoring, someone has to do the graft. Like, that's the way it is.
But I just think the way they are, and as a team, I don't think no one minds that. You know, I don't think Stephen Duffy minds that half an amount that we're probably saying, look, he's been a bit quiet. I don't think that Dean Healy thinks that we're saying, you know, he's quiet enough. He only scored 2 goals in the semi-final there, he was quiet enough. You know, I don't think he's too bothered about that, the way this team is modern at the
Mike Walter and Duffy are probably just going through coming up, I wouldn't say towards the end of the career, but they're a little bit more seasoned probably, and rather than running from from goalpost to goalpost, they're just playing a different game now. They're being smarter, and keeping possession and laying off the ball. It's like Tommy Kelly is obviously, you know, he's going to be there. The lad you'd be looking to get the most scores. If I was to put someone on him, I watched Kiltegan and Arklow earlier on in the year, and Tom Maher marked Shawnee Furlong. It doesn't really make sense, but Shawnee scored something like 2-6, 2-7 that day. There was a penalty and a couple of free, but Tom Maher did some job on him.
And he pulled off a monster block on him. Remember, he block across on him, like. But Tom Maher got bad, hurt the shoulder last day. We don't know he'll be on him.
Yeah,
like,
he might not. Yeah, well.
But like as you said, Emmet, like stopping the ball to Tommy is a big thing, you know.
I think Pats are very adept at the minute of getting the ball into Tommy where he's dangerous as well. You know, Tommy's not coming out 50 yards to get this ball, and he doesn't have to turn and meet beaten 3 or 4 defenders to get into scoring. They're getting it to him within danger area at all times. And look, we're talking about Pats a lot here as well. You know, this Gers team have their own, you know, they have a lot of their own dangers in here, but they have a lot of, like, we picked our team at the group stages, you know, like Carl Kerwin, Jack Hamilton, these lads have stepped up from there. Like, Jack Hamilton has been immense in the 2
He's probably
games.
been man of the match in the last 2 games. Fair enough to say, like, really,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like, he's been unbelievable, to be fair. Like, and, you know, Carl Kerwin has been immense for them as well, you know.
I think it was Jack Hamilton who was earlier on the year up here against Tinnahealy. He gave an exhibition of football. He was up and down the field all day long with, like, you know. We talked about him earlier, Travers in goal. What a goalkeeper to have. Like, he definitely, if you're back in front of him, but his kickouts are absolutely a joy to watch. He makes it look so easy, although it's not. I wasn't at the game last weekend, but remember you saying, Emmet, why is he going long? Like, he has mastered the kick out with kind of going short, and he has his cluster backs in front of him and he sends them scattered. And I was wondering myself, why did he go long? Especially when they brought in Gavin Murray against him, you know.
I probably thinking back on that, I think his backs were a little bit rattled at the time. I think he was probably...
He took the pressure off him.
Yeah, I think they were kind of getting dragged all over the place, you know, and I think they were 5 or 6 points down, and he probably was...
Well, he's clever enough to do it. He has the brains to do it.
Well, the last thing a cornerback wants here now at this stage is a ball hitting him in the chest for 20 yards, and Curtis Gerry here, someone breathing down his neck, you know, we'll go along and we'll chance her.
And the rain cutting the bus off.
It might mean the best weather conditions.
Take 2 kicks to get it back anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe that thinking after it was probably a little bit of cuteness with him that done that as well.
But like, we're on about momentum, and people are saying, "Oh, the last 2 matches will have taken much out of Gerlines." I don't really think so, because they're that well balanced, they're that fit, they're in good condition. Like, they have a very good panel, equally with Pats have a very, very good panel. They can rotate wherever they want. Like, Damon's not afraid to make changes. He'll take off his old guard when he knows they're tired. No problems. Like, we've criticised him, and who are we? Because it's worked for him.
Well, I'd rather be an Arklow player right now after coming out of them 2 games than a St. Pat's sitting back, listening about them games, and maybe even going to watch them. You know, Casey has to bring the Pats lads away and keep them focused, where Arklow have had 2 of the best training sessions they've had ever.
Yeah, look,
last 2 weekends, you know,
injuries barring, I suppose. But like, I think, you know, we spoke about Pats in their strength in depth. I think key to the Gers 2 games in the last 2 weeks have been their bench. They have been key to them. I don't think we've talked
at the right times.
The two McBrides have come in. Cal Kelly has come in. Dara Culleton came in one of the days. Well, everyone that has came in has made an impact for him, and a very big impact, to be fair. You know, and I think we're just, you know, we're kind of gushing over Pats all year. Yeah, but I just think that, like, there's more to this Gers team than just what meets the eye starting off. I think they're really well balanced, you know, and as you, but I just think they have that kick. Like, you know, the 2 McBrides the last 2 days have made an immense contribution coming in off that line.
Oh, they have. No, there's no doubt about it. Like, they have, the 2 panels have they've depth the whole way through it, which is very, very good. And like, on Sunday we're going to see them two managers using all their panel, like what they can what they have to their disposal, like, you know.
And that's the way it should be. That's their dead right for doing that.
And that's it.
Well,
like,
that's the way the game has gone as well.
But like, I can't wait to see matchups. I'm not even going to surmise what way things are going to go, because like we say, it's horses for courses and all on the day. Like, and it's just, I think it's going to be very, very good. Like, just before the ball is thrown in, you're going to see pirouettes all over the place.
Who's going to go where? Yeah. That, as you said, like, I know Casey and I know Damo. I worked with Casey. I came up against Damo, and I don't be surprised to see rabbits out of the hat with either of these lads, because, you know, they're sitting at home now tonight trying to pick one another's brains from whatever distance his Arklow to
second guess each other nearly. Yeah,
they're sitting trying to pick one another's brain from one side of the county to the other there, and they're just picking away, saying, you know, how can I make the difference? Because that's the type of managers they are, like, and you know, they're 2 of the top managers in the county at the minute. To
be very tactical as well.
Yeah.
But even with Damien Redmond there, it must be great to have the likes of Travers again go back to him. You know, Mervyn can sort out his backs, obviously underneath to watch the live of Damien Redmond, but it must be some help having someone like him in the panel. Yeah. Now, Pats can say him, Casey has the likes of Podge and Stephen Duffy, you know, like it is a fascinating matchup, and you can talk about two teams here all night. Like it will be, as Alan says, pirouettes on the day of this. That'll start here on the page, and all of a sudden he's gone there. It'll be like a game of chess. But that's the way football is now. It's just pure tactical now, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you talk about, we've talked a lot about Tommy Kelly here. I think if you look at Pat's spread of scorers, there's more to him than Tommy
There
Kelly.
is.
Yeah.
Like Kieran McGehigan had 2 points the last day. Podge McWalter had 2 points the last day. I think.
But look at that little diamond.
Duffy had 2. Dean got 2 goals in the middle of it. John Crowe got a point or 2. You know what I mean? Like, and you're not adept to seeing maybe Conor French or Patrick or Paddy O'Kane or someone stepping up.
Yeah,
and
like,
either, like
is it looking at little diamond? They have 6, 8, 9 and 11. Conor French a centre back, Dean Healy, John Crowe midfield maybe, and Patrick Walter at centre forward. Like, there's 4 serious players right in the middle, right where you want them in the team.
that's
4 ex and current county players, that know each other inside out, and the vast knowledge to have an experience is unreal. Like, and you haven't even mentioned Duffy.
No.
You know what I mean? To come back into that, where he fits, like the pocket he sits into, unreal. Like, and like he brings that maybe from his rugby end of things as well. Like,
I'd say if Davy Burke went to his first league match and had that Pat 6, 8, 9 and 11 lining out for me, be happy enough probably starting now.
yeah,
I'd imagine so.
And that's
Yeah.
no disrespect to anyone on either team to go on, but just to look
Yeah.
at there when you mentioned that diamond, like he'd probably say, well,
like another lad
that's
that
not too bad,
like I've so much time and respect for him is Shane Murley. I think he's absolutely excellent. Like he'll make 1 or 2 bombs up the field in the game. Like, go back to the county final last year, put over the bar, could have had a goal, brought to the replay. Like, but he does it every day. Like, he time his run right. Like, he's like Barry Murphy from Leslie.
he's handed a job
You know,
every day as well.
yeah.
Like, it's not as if he's gave a free roll or he's given me not. He always has a job, and it's always on one of the opposition's top men. But you always find that he gets down the field as well.
Drags him away.
Yeah, as much to say, sure, you follow me for a change for a few minutes there.
I was
after following you.
I was just about to say Barry Murphy to you, Alan. Yeah.
But like, we're on about first goal scorers, and there's a price list out there for first goal scorers. Like, my tip for first goal scorer is Kieran McGehigan. I think, because he gets in around that square every day. The last day he put one just over the bar. He very, very simply could have had a goal that day. Back to the county final last year, he squared the ball across, could have had a goal himself, squared it across to Tommy Kelly. He's always thereabouts. He is he takes up a run and he'll sidestep you, jink you left or right, and he kick you off both feet, and he's always good for a goal. And that's my tip anyway. For first goal
Again,
scorer.
there's probably one man we haven't mentioned here, and it's a big day for him as well, as Anton Allen. It's
I'll come to that near the end.
all right, sorry.
It's really firing shots at you tonight, Emma, isn't he?
I'll tell you.
Really firing
I'll
shots
go
at
now in a
you.
minute.
Yeah. but I just go back to matchups for a second there. There's one young man that deserves a lot of praise for Pats coming through this year, Paddy O'Kane. I think he's been absolutely excellent for them. Really stood out this year as one of a good man marker and footballer, and really admired the way he's played this year. And on the other side, I sort of lamented Carl Kelleher not being as much of a threat as he used to be, but in the semi-final or in the replay there last week, I thought he was immense. I'd love to see the two of them going toe to toe next week.
Well, I have a different one for you, and I meant to say this to you before we went on.
Yours is surprised.
I meant to say it, yeah.
No, we went to a lot of schools matches this year. Gael School and Namara got to the final. They won the B final, I think, wasn't it? Joint captains on it were Andy Marr and Patrick O'Kane. And there is a possibility, if they line out the way they have been lining out, they could be marking each other. You would not know, and I tell you, lads, that would be some battle.
It would, but I think O'Kane he's lined out at 7 a few times, but he drops back deeper and picks up the danger man for the opposition the whole time. Whereas Marr sort of seems to drifts out a bit.
I'd
Emmet,
say Cormac O'Shea, he was probably unlucky not to come off the field with 3 or 4 points from play the other day. Like, to be fair to him as well.
And if the conditions hadn't been as bad, I'd say he would have.
Yeah. But as you said, you've a little bit of experience on both teams, and look, you've the 2 best teams in the county in this final, and that's when you want to go. The hurling was the same; it turned out in Bray's favour. But when you go to county finals, you want the 2 best teams in the county in them. And look, in the intermediate and the senior on Sunday, results will tell you that's what you have.
Without doubt, definitely. It's going to be a cracking game, really, isn't it?
Well, like, if Damo and Casey are listening, just put Paul O'Kane and Andy Marr on each other and line out anyone else every way.
Just for a couple of minutes, October's right.
So,
We're all grand then.
Completely disrespect what I've said there. Don't worry about me at all.
Disrespect what you said.
Like Kevin, the Glenealy job is not enough for him now. He wants the and the Jersey job as well.
Yeah, he wants both of them. We won't see him next year at all.
He's going to be busy anyway.
Yeah. But so that's key matchups. Like on the other side, like we mentioned that little triangle for the Pats. Like, and then you look at Arklow and then they've like Kieran Hyland, Stephen Hurley, JP Hurley, and Philip Gleeson, and that's another good four there as well. Like that's going to be fascinating.
It's a pitch battle. And there's nothing, and it just, as we said, like the Jers on a bounce. I hope we're not just talking about them tiring on Sunday. I really hope, because if these two can go down the stretch, as the fella says, if we can go into the last 7 or 8 minutes in a tight game here, this is going to be, this is going to be great.
Can you see? I suppose one of the players we've talked about and celebrated for years, playing for Wicklow, one of the best man markers in the county. Could you see him drifting in to pick up Tommy Kelly?
It was something that came Jordan. He's played predominantly at centre back for them, and he's been a bit of a driving force there the last 2 days. But he's been handed every big job under Miko when he was there, a man marking job, and I think you want your experience. It'd be some battle if Highland did go back in there on Tommy.
Yeah, I'd say you're on the ball. I would agree with now.
I think
there's a first for everything.
I think you're after taking Tuber's his little saying there. I think Emmet. No,
just when you say, I just think but that's what this has us, like any of the matches coming up over the past year, you're near enough able to call what's going to the lineups or the matchups probably will be, and that's why this one is so intriguing, because there could be anything, like you could be talking Tom Maher and Tommy Kelly, could Kieran Hyland go back, could like who's going to pick up Cathal Kelleher, like will Paddy Kane go back, who'll follow Andrew Maher, who all these, like it's such an intriguing matchup.
If Maher is fit, Tom Maher fit and flying it, I think him and Kelly we great mark up, and then you'd have Hyland then on Podge McWalter. It's just going to be good everywhere you look, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't.
You're not going to be disappointed one way or the other,
Sorry, you forgot to mention one player that's had a serious job the last 2 weeks doing man marking. Jack Hamilton could go in there either.
Yeah,
Jack Hamilton is in there. Like
again, as you said, it's very hard. It's very intriguing.
Garreth Fitz is knocking around back there. He played his best football at half back last Saturday as well. When he went back, he was immense. Well, he was lining a half back, but he was everywhere else, to be fair to him. But you know what I mean. So I think it's just near. And I'm not sort of running a chart here or anything, but I do think that we're probably just better to wait for Sunday,
and we'll find out.
Anthony Nolan is open to pick up the ball. We'll have an idea what's going to take place, because now Alan's
after losing the plot here now.
He wasn't getting enough airtime, and he's after throwing things. the rattle has gone out of the pram here.
One thing, we'll give him a bit more credit, but I will anyway, because we need to sort of keep the peace in some form or manner. I think he was right the last time when he sort of mentioned Barry Murphy coming on to Philip Healy. Can you see Murley picking up Philip Healy this week?
Possibly. Barry Murphy in the first game bombed up the field, and Philip Healy had to make 2 or 3 monster runs after him. And you could see he was gassed. Could you possibly see that? Maybe, yeah, because Murley will do the same thing. He'll try to go up the field. If I was Casey, that's what I'd be doing anyway. But look, I'm not Casey. Before you say it, Emma, right? But equally. If Pats are going to do any fouling in there, look how lethal Philip is. The first day alone, he had 8 threes out of 9. Kept him in the game. Like we were saying, why didn't he bring him back on for the extra time? Why didn't he bring him, get him into the game? Because he had other plans. Damo had other plans, and the plans worked. Another big player for me in this day, is Stephen Hurley. Where are they going to put him? They brought him out the last day, pulled all the strings. There's no point saying he didn't. He pulled all the strings down the middle of the field. His precision passing is just electric. But we can go through every player here, lads. But I think we will move on to the referee. The best of luck to Anton All on the day, and all his officials. It's a big day for him, and fair play.
Day, Anton has probably suffered from his ties with
Ballas
and Ratnure, and who knows, he could again for the next while. You just don't know. But it's a massive day for him as well. You have to he's refereed big matches all throughout his career since he started refereeing, but. This is his biggest day in Wicklow, and just wish him the best of luck. He He's there to do a big job. But I don't think he could have two better teams going toe to toe because they're two real football teams, and as the lad says, arms up and let him ahead. That's
and we'll just go back to the Germans for a second there. That JP Hurley, he's a young lad coming up. I hope he does get a look in the county this year. What he brings to the squad is the same as what Stafford brings to Rathnew. His height, his presence, he's a joy to watch around the field. He still needs a lot of experience to get him under his belt, but he's a real star for the future.
Yeah, but what I think the best thing that I like about JP Hurley was when Rathnew needed a goal, Stafford always needed a square, and he was always dangerous. He was always going to break a ball down or get a hand to it or get it into the net some way. He always managed to do it. The last 2 weeks, JP Hurley has come on. He's won a high ball for the free to bring it to the 8 penalties in the replay. Last week, the havoc he caused and set up the goals. And I just think that's what I was saying to you, Alan, there. Mm-hmm. I can see him sort of in the same mould as a Stafford.
He went in there the last day, and you were saying about McLaughlin's, he was uncontested. He got the goal. He blocked another one down. Philip Healy was very near getting on the end of it.
Well, uncontested. But if you looked at the catch he made in the drawing game,
massive.
There's 4 or 5 lads striking out.
Massive. He was only after being re-entered into the game. When he needed it, chips were down. He won the ball, pulled it out of the sky. He did. And where are they going to put him? Well, equally again, we don't know. We don't know.
We're doing a lot of second guessing on this one, lads.
I'm torn. Honestly, God, I'm stuck for words on this one. I don't know.
His of hers.
We're getting an hour and a half there.
We're going to go to. We've interviews with the 2 managers ahead of the game on Sunday. But before we do that, Alan, do you want to go first or last this time?
I'm last all this week, boys.
Last. When you've been last for the last 2 weeks, but go on anyway, Emmet.
I think home dinger, cracker of a game. I think just on the last 2 weeks, the Gers, I think Pats by 2 or 3. I just think it will have to take its toll. I mean, panel or no panel, we can talk all we want, but and even that the last day in the rain, it'll just have to take its toll a little bit, no matter what sort of a bounce factor you have. I just think it just might be just a bridge too far for the Jerseys. But look, you're talking coming down the stretch, and it's big finish from Pats, 2 or 3.
Sorry to do this, I'm going to disagree with you for the second time today. I'm going to say that the last 2 games are going to help Arklow. As long as they've come through it unscathed, they're going to have their confidence is going to be up. There's one thing about Arklow, they don't really go by a script. They're well and truly gone against Pleasanton at one stage. They were 8 points down, wasn't looking good at all. I just think it's going to be Arklow's day on Sunday.
Yeah, I've been loyal to Arklow all year with my tips, and I think I have said it a couple of weeks ago. I think this Pats team is, they're capable of doing 5 or 6 in a row. But I think if anyone's going to stop them, this Jersey team, as you mentioned, they've had.
Get off the fence, Kev.
I'm a draw, so.
No. This Jersey, they've little time to think about it. It's a quick turnaround. They've got momentum going with them. Yourself, Alan and Hines and Emmet have tore the back off them all year, and I think they're going to prove you wrong, and they're going to win on Sunday.
Is there someone buying you a drink in Arklow or something?
Now you have it. So you're going for AGB?
I am.
Kind of.
Well, Alan wrote down AGB, rubbed it out, put down Pats, and put back down AGB.
You'll get into Sally's for that, and so did I. Anyway, it looks at things.
For life. I want a gold card.
I'm torn between 2 bridges here, lads. I don't know what way to go. We're at the start of the year, we couldn't have asked for 2 better teams in the final. We've said it. But I'm just going to go with the depth of the panel. I'm going to have to go with Pats. I just think they're able to grind out a result when they really, really need it. They're able to they're tactically able to set up for anything that's through at them. I'm going to have to go with you, Emmet. Breaks me heart.
I think he called Emmet there as well.
Emmet. I'm going for Pats to win by 2.
Man of the match now, or are you just going to?
No, we're going to wait for. We've managed the matches for all the games, lads. So we'll hold off.
Yeah.
I said Simon Doyle in the other one, but we could.
I know who I'm picking for first goal scorer, but I don't want to put any.
Well, I said Kieran McGahey.
I don't want to put any curse on him, so I'm going to leave that off there for the moment because our tipping first goal scorer last week didn't go well. Emmet, did it? It didn't.
No.
No. I'll tell you off air who I'm going to pick.
I probably put the curse on the chap. He didn't even get a start.
Yeah. So why not doing that this week? Look, thanks very much to the Garreth there for joining us tonight, and Emmet as always, and Gary there on sound again. We appreciate that. We're going to leave you. We've commentary of all 5 games this weekend.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you as well. We'll go back to you in a minute. I want to thank everyone for listening all year. I don't know why you handed out me. I wasn't cutting in on you there.
He actually pulled it away from me. Alright.
We're going to have to separate.
No, I want to thank everyone. Look, we've one more podcast to do. That's next week. I want to thank everyone all year for following us and listening to us, and I hope you'll come back to us again in the coming season. We'll be back for obviously we're back next week, but we'll be back for the national leagues.
Well, we might have a couple of
other
special podcasts over the course of the winter. You never know what we can
get
do.
any more special than this left.
No. But we're going to leave you. We have an interview from Wicklow Junior manager Damien Redmond first, and then we'll have Casey O'Brien after that, and we will talk to you Saturday. We're live for the Junior C final in Wicklow. Emmet, you're going there, I think, isn't it? And I'm in Ashford for Junior B, and then we'll fight over the Junior A. I fancy your chances, Emmet, to be honest with you, but we'll see. And we'll be then on Sunday for the intermediate and senior. So we'll talk to you then. Thanks very much for tuning in.
Good luck.
So joining us on the line now is Wicklow Junior manager Damien Redmond. Damien, you're very welcome to the podcast here tonight.
Thanks very much, lads. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. We really appreciate you taking time out to give us a call. Damien, it's county final week, first time since 1963 for the Jers. How's preparations going down in Wicklow town?
Well, the excitement and the flags and the work rate that's going on around town now is unbelievable. So there's flags everywhere. There's pictures of the lads. There's photos in shops. There's, it's surreal now, to be honest. I never thought I'd ever see the day that the town would throw in behind a team like this. Is absolutely fantastic. It's a credit to the whole town now, to be fair.
To be fair, I think there is actually they're chiseling out a statue of yourself there now as well. I think they're going to put outside there.
Well, they may get more children, so because it'll be a big statue for the size of me.
Oh God, don't be so hard on yourself. But look at Damien, like you probably even haven't had time to take it all in. You're after having a serious few weeks there. Like you had a bit of a break off, obviously, because you got into the semi-final and you had a big gap. But then the whole thing was like a whirlwind. Like you couldn't have anticipated what was going to happen over the next 2 weeks. When you got into that semi-final.
No, we had, as I said, we had a 4 to 5 week break leading into the semi-final, and then what happened on the first day was a bit brave with the penalties and the extra time and things like that. And Martin's great decision to award a replay to both teams, and then we'd only a weekend to kind of recover between extra time and penalties and the mental thing and the whole physical things the lads went through. We didn't do a thing that week. We met up straight after the game. We went to the beach for a swim together. The lads did. I didn't get in now. It wouldn't be pretty exciting, but the lads went for a swim, and the lads are very smart. They recover well. If the team need to do something as a team, they'll do it. And it was the same during the week. We didn't actually go onto the pitch during the week before the replay. We had a meeting on the Wednesday night together. We got all the lads down from college. We had a meeting together, and then we just went hell for leather on Saturday.
But obviously you've a very young team with you, but you've some very experienced heads there as well. Like you were there in the intermediate final there several years ago, and you just wouldn't go away. And like it's still kind of carbon copy. Like you tend to start a little bit slow. Obviously it's not a tactic to start slow, but like you just won't go away. Yeah. Like how do you keep the momentum going? Like the heart rate on the line must be fairly high anyway.
Well, it's not good now, no, it wouldn't be great. But in terms of, we have a great balance of people together, you know, on the team, between Philip Healy and the Butcher, Stephen Hurley, I thought last, was immense. But we can only get so far with these older players, or experienced players. But last Sunday we had Chris O'Brien, and even the week before, Chris was outstanding. John Paul, Hurley, players like Fitzy, we know how good Fitzy is, and Andy Maher. But there was unsung heroes last week. Jack Hamilton had Owen Keogh marked for the whole 60 minutes, didn't do a thing. Carl Cogan, James Tyrrell were outstanding. Everybody we had to win. It was a case of just getting over the line no matter how we done it, and that's what we spoke about at half time, was just getting over the line.
Well, that's
there was a bit of rat and a raving at half time, but the lads need that. We've all been in dressing rooms where lads need to kick up the arse for us. That's what happened.
Oh, well, that is it. Like, that is it. And like, you're naming a few lads that are always popping up for you. Like JP, he was took off in the first game, come back on, got the winning free for the score. The next day, like we were saying in the commentary, like to try mix it up a little bit. I was particularly saying to get Stephen Hurley out around the middle of the field, and you've done that, and you brought in JP. Like, first ball, he got in there, a goal. Now, look, was it a little bit of a fluke? Yeah, but you need them on the day, you know. Like, you'll take them, you know, at any time. Like, then JP worked. Like, you could actually had another couple of goals in the second half the way things were going for you, but like, you just kept going and going and going. And I think like your fitness as well, and your desire just blew blessing away in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, our fitness has always been good. Now you take it. There's a lot of young lads on the team, but no matter what, when we're training or doing anything at all, like, it's the older lads are still doing the same work as the younger lads, and the lads see that, like the 50 and all see that, so they will go that little bit extra for the team, and for myself and for Alan Byrne and the lads on the line. They will do that extra bit of work after training, and you know, and it does pay dividends on the pitch. Like, when we need someone to dig deep, we don't just get one or two lads, we do get everybody together. Like, even the subs have been fantastic this year.
Yeah, speaking of digging deep, go back 2 years ago in the county final with Ballinacur, one man popped up to score a late goal, and there he was again this week, popping up for another goal. Like that's a good player to bring in, like a massive impact player.
He was brought in a corner back and ended up scoring a goal to bring us to a county final, like a senior county final. Cal is like that. His demeanour is really calm, cool and collected. He, like anyone else, could have blasted that goal. Even the one against Ballinacur in 2016 was placed in the corner. He done the same on Sunday or Saturday. Sorry, he's fantastic to bring on. He's very unlucky not to be starting. It's just one or two things this year haven't went Cal's way, and it's just he's kind of coming back into himself now. But it's like what we always said to the lads. Regardless of who starts or who comes on, everyone is part of the team, and everyone has to make a difference, and that's exactly what the lads are doing. It's fantastic.
It's a real squad game now, so it is like really has developed into that over the last couple of seasons. Like And Damien, the group of players there, we've mentioned all the young lads, they're not that hard to motivate, are they? They're really up for this one.
Yeah, no, this week we had a training session last night, Tuesday night, and everybody's on the ball. There's no getting away from this. Is county week. You can see it around town, and the lads are getting pat on the back, and they're loving it. They're thriving on it.
Well, personally, I think I should get some of the thanks for where you have got, because I think I've been very hard on you all year, and I think it has really brought you out, you know. So I think I should get some credit for that, Damo.
Yeah, we credit you, and myself and Kevin had this conversation on Sunday, and I wasn't really thanking you on Sunday.
I wouldn't think so.
No, listen, lads, you're doing a fantastic job promoting every club in Wicklow. We don't mind if we're favourites or not favourites. That doesn't bother us.
No, but look, we wish you the very, very best of luck anyway.
No problem, thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be speaking to you after at some stage anyway, Damien. And thanks for taking our call. And sure, I'll keep tipping you in the future now, Damien. Don't worry about the other lads.
You keep doing that. Thank you. Thanks,
lads. Cheers, Damien. Bye.
Bye.
So joining us on the line now is Casey O'Brien, manager of St. Pat's in Wicklow Town. Casey, you're very welcome to the podcast here tonight.
Thanks very much, Kevin.
Very welcome, Casey. Thanks for taking our call. I know you're a busy man this week. Casey, how's preparations going up in Wicklow Town?
Yeah, they're not going too bad. So we're training tomorrow night, but it'll be a light session, and the lads are all in good form, and everyone's looking forward to it. That's all.
So, how have you kept them level-headed after watching the last two of the Geraldines matches? Obviously, you've been well clued in, and to see what's going on. Would you have rather the Blessington? Would you have rather the Geraldines? Or would it mattered?
There's not much, but you've seen the semi-final, there wasn't much between Blessington or Wicklow. I don't think it mattered really which team we were going to play. Blessington were the last team to beat us in the championship, and we'd have been firing on all cylinders to beat them. And the Wicklow Jers, after winning the championship last year, we only drew with them, so we couldn't have a bit of a score to settle with Wicklow as well, So either way, it didn't matter which one we played. We know it's going to be a tough game.
Well, to be fair, the two teams that have gone in through the whole campaign unbeaten are in the final. I think the two group systems does work. There's no one get through a back door. You have to be there on what you lay out your stall, and both have laid out your stall fairly well.
Yeah, to be exactly both teams are unbeaten, and when you get to a county final, you're there on merit. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. And Wicklow will feel that they're deservedly right to get there. They're after coming from, they've won minor championships, they've won intermediate championships, they've been in a quarter final, they were in a semi-final last year, and now they're in a final. It's been a good stepping stone from what Wicklow Jers are doing down there, and it's a credit to them, and they kind of showed a lot of clubs around the county.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough to be saying that about the journey, but let's not take away from yourselves either. It's a credit to yourselves as well. You're county champions, you're back in the final again. You don't want to let go of you have one handle on the mug, you don't want to let go of the other handle of it either now,
No, God, we surely don't, and our lads have worked really, really, really hard now, As I said, before, in other years we've won championships, and we've never really, following year we've kind of been stale for whatever reason, we don't know, but I have to hand it to her. There's a good group of lads that we have there now, and they're very, very level-headed, and they work really, really hard in training and matches, and their dedication is second to none, really.
And Casey, it's a fine panel you've built up there. There's a lot of names on it. How do you keep them all motivated? It really is a squad game now, isn't it?
It is a squad game, and it's a very hard team for us to pick. Everyone brings something to the table, and that's the hardest part. I don't like leaving people not playing or not starting or whatever. It's the downside of it. But look, they've all bought into it for the last couple of years. It's whatever we do, we're trying to do the best for the club and the best for the team. And it's as simple as that. And it's all about just trying to bring the Moyley Cup back to Wicklow Town. That's the big point. It's not about any individual or it's just about a collective team thing, and just do whatever has to be done.
Yeah, you kind of have this kind of a platform around you at the minute. Dublin are going on this role of unbeaten, and similar to yourselves. You haven't been beaten now. This is your second year on the roll now of no losses. And look, it's an absolute credit to you. You go out, you set your stall out again. Different teams play different ways, and you'd have a great balance around the whole place.
Yeah. Well, again, it comes to studying other teams or whatever it may be, and trying to see we take each game as it comes. It's as simple as that. And luckily enough, we are on a bit of an unbeaten run, but sure, it's going to come to an end someday. Make no mistake about that. But hopefully that won't come to an end this Sunday, and hopefully it's next year when somebody catches it.
Well, Emmet, have you anything you want to throw in?
No, just you kind of hit on it there, Casey, I suppose. The second year syndrome, if you like to call it, but there seems to be a real steal about the group this year. We know I know you don't like talking about these things, but early 60s, I think, since the double was done or whatever, but there seems to be a real steal about the group. Well, look, I worked with you before. I know your man management skills, but like a lot of it seems to be coming from within the group as well.
Oh, without doubt. Like I say, we're there to guide the lads, and you can only guide players for so much. You know what I mean? There's a lot of it comes from within. We've a lot of leaders there, and it's a mix of youth and experience. Like, I mean, these older lads need the young lads as well. Like, you know, we've got the older lads like Padge and Paul Earls, and then you've the middle group of lads like Dean and John Crow and Frenchie and Tommy Kelly, and you know, Stephen Duffy's one of the older lads as well. But then we've got the young lads coming through like Patrick O'Kane and Matthew Traynor, and you know, there's a couple of young lads on the bench there pushing as well. And then, you know, you've got a lot of unsung girls that people don't talk about. You know, the Shane Morleys and the Dwayne Doyles and the Kieran Doyles, and you know, Paul O'Brien, Kieran McGettigan. The work rate of them is second to none. Like, you know.
Like, go back to the league game again, Rathnew. You lost your keeper early in play. He went over and his ankle looked like on the AstroTurf, and it was a big loss to you. Like, but look at what you have found to fill the gap, and that's no disrespect to the keeper that is obviously looking to get back at some stage into the goal. I think the keeper you have at the minute, his kick out alone is like it's as good as a puck out. He's nearly eliminated the VAR 45 with it any day.
Yeah, like Collie hurt his ankle that time, but Ian Murphy was in the goal as well then for a while. You know, Ian's a class goalkeeper too, and we 3 goalkeepers to pick from. And Shane Doyle, to be fair, done his cruciate knee ligament last year, and he was playing midfield for us. In the last group time against Blessing, he missed. He was finished from then, but he done it in an Ireland match, so he missed the end of last year's campaign, and he was midfield for us. So he's been working his way back, and you know, he was training really hard, and you know, we play goal in soccer, so we decided to give Shane a go on it, you know, and sure, he hasn't looked back. Like, he's been excellent for us. Like, now.
Is he going to find it hard to work his way back out the field?
Well, that's for another day. That's next year, man. I suppose, you know what I mean. But
you're not going to drop a bombshell Sunday on that one, are you?
No, he'll be in the goal.
No, Casey, thanks very much for taking our call. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck for Sunday, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after it at some stage.
Okay, lads, and listen, fair play to you. You're doing a great coverage on sport. Like, it's great to you.
Thanks very much, Casey. We appreciate it very much. Thanks very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more on beds, mattresses, sofas, furniture and rugs. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie.
David Blake, physical therapist, Tinahely, for comprehensive treatment and assessment of all musculoskeletal conditions, including neck and back pain, sports injuries, upper and lower limbs, and rehabilitation. With experience in many sporting organisations at club, county and international levels, David can also offer treatment for all ages and is available for deep tissue cupping, dry needling and taping techniques when necessary. Contact David on 087 906 2150. That's 087 906 2150.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, the store that saves you more. With stores in Tala, Nace, Bunclody, Carlow, Gorey and Wexford Town.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
With Murphy Liquidation Furniture, new stock arriving each week in all 6 stores. murphyliquidationfurniture.ie for more.